I'm Chase Nicholson, a Christian, swimmer, and have a passion for music. But what's most important about me is not who I am, but who I will be. You see, all my life I've wanted to be something different, from a bug catcher to an anthropologist. I've been attracted to so many different things, I feel like I'm changing my mind every 5 seconds. Although I found something that would fit me the best. Ever since I was little, I was fascinated with the sky. So I am now a Civil Air Patrol member and leader. I fly every other month or so. I love every second in the air. Although it hasn't been smooth sailing to get here, the waters tested me the whole way. I was born December 15th, 1998 to two loving parents, Kim and Shane Nicholson. I have two siblings, an older brother and sister, Robbie and Megan Poole. Robbie was born on January 4th, 1992, and Megan, April 15th, 1993. Later, Kim went to Bernal College to be a teacher. She got her specialists in leadership and administration. She was employed in Gwinnett County Schools for 5 years, and then came to Halls County Schools and has been teaching here for 15 years and counting. My dad was born December 6, 1972. He was born to Florence and Gilbert Nicholson. Shane was one of 3 children in his house, his older brother Russell and sister Gail. My dad grew up with his dad mainly and dropped out of high school when he was 17. He then went to Lanier Tech and got a degree in computer information systems, while working for ZF Industries in the logistics department. Very often I will hear my dad share that if it was truly that easy, wouldn't everybody be doing it? In that to be mindful and make wise choices. And to please don't do what I do, but if you do, take plenty of pictures. Also, something my mom would share often is, it doesn't matter what everybody else does, says, or thinks. It just matters what you do, say, or think. In Gainesville, Georgia, in a small house down Antioch Church Road, is where I was brought home from the hospital. I was 3 when we built our new house on Pony Lake Road in Dahlonega. This is the home I've grown up in and have enjoyed all of it. This home has shaped my family and I for over 12 years, and has many more memories in store for us. Through all of these years, what I remember the most is memories of Robbie, Megan, and I. Robbie and Megan were always doing everything together, so I was always wanting to do everything with them, even though there was a 6 to 7 year age difference between us. But no matter what anyone said, that never bothered me. I wanted to be like them every second of every day. Throughout my life and even into adolescence, I was an escape artist, thrill seeker extraordinaire. For example, whenever I was little in my crib, I would climb up and throw myself over the side and fall down, just to be able to go to sleep with my parents in their bed. I have been looking for a way around barriers and obstacles for most of my life so far. As I have grown up though, I've realized that the more small obstacles you overcome, a bigger one replaces it. Although, whenever you overcome them, it is one less thing plotting against you, and so it helps you to become a better person. Because who would we be without anything challenging if everything came easily to you? Because if you didn't face some sort of adversity, you would have all these little flaws that would hold you back from doing anything that led to any sort of reward. I've always struggled with procrastination and am still struggling with it now, but I am getting stronger every day. According to J. Oswald Sanders' book, Dynamic Spiritual Leadership, procrastination and vacillation are fatal to leadership. A sincere but mistaken decision is better than no decision. Indeed, no decision is a decision that the present situation is acceptable. This quote has shown me that by not making a decision or riding the fence is making a decision. As I grew up, I saw what Robbie and Megan were going through and tried my best to learn from it and tried not to make the same mistakes. This led me to be what I am today, that no matter what I encounter, there will be a small portion of what I am now. I believe that I was born with some things, but I also learned many. I believe that I was born a kind-hearted and unmotivated person, while I still think that I learned my musical nature from my mom, and my sarcastic, stubborn personality from my dad. Also, I believe that I got my humor from my whole family, while I was born with my scientific mind and craving of explanation of everything I am told. I have always wanted to be many different things in my life, One of them was to be an inventor, which I had always wanted to be and have always wanted to do, ever since I was 5 years old. I loved building things out of Legos and anything I could get my hands on. I would love to build things and had an imagination to come up with new ideas every time, which helped me with wanting to study dinosaurs. Ever since I saw Jurassic Park when I was 8 years old, I wanted to study dinosaurs, or even be them at times when my imagination roamed. I loved them because they were so big and powerful and were amazing in my mind and could do anything. Although, as I grew up, I realized that I wanted to fly. Whenever I took a flight down to Savannah with my mom for my brother and sister's all-state trip, I loved every second and thought that this was the best thing I had ever done. This affected my life because as I grew up, I could never forget about the experience. Then, whenever I took a trip to San Francisco, California, I had an over 4 hours of continuous flight and I loved it. Then, whenever my mom taught Joshua Vick in her kindergarten classroom, I met his mom, who was a former Civil Air Patrol member, and heard about my passion for flight and told me about it. Then, whenever we went to Warner Robins Air Force Base for an air show, I saw the F-22 Raptor by Lockheed Martin doing flybys. I wanted to become an Air Force pilot, so I dedicated myself to becoming an Air Force fighter pilot. Although, when I talked to my great-grandfather about it, he was fairly disappointed. He said that if I really wanted to fly, I should join the Navy. I was confused though, so I asked him why I would do that, because it made no sense, because the Air Force should have all the pilots. It's in their name. But he explained to me that if you really want to travel and fly, that most of the aircraft carriers in the Navy went all over the world and almost constantly had planes in the sky. That no matter what the Air Force said, that they are ground-based and are not traveling all over the world. I mean, think about it. A fighter jet doesn't have enough fuel to travel across the ocean by itself, so someone has to get them over there. He also explained to me that if I chose Navy, I would be the 5th generation in my family, and that if I joined Air Force that he would warp my frame, and that was convincing enough for me. Although, getting your pilot's license is the first step to becoming a pilot in the Navy, so how would I get that? I mean, an instructor could cost hundreds of dollars a week, let alone a month. And this is what troubled me the most, and then I realized that the very day that I got my CAP ID, that I could get an instructor who is a member of CAP, and that CAP pays for my instructor and for the plane and the fuel and everything. That I could get a pilot's license without even having to pay for the test, which is awesome. That all of the possible expenses that could come to me through pursuing this is almost completely wiped out. That if I can join the Navy Reserve and get my education and then become a pilot, they would pay for all of my college, which is amazing and really, really cool. Although you do have to pass boot camp, which is not very fun, but does teach leadership and endurance, so it's for the best. My learning style is the innovator, which means that I have a combination of somatic, which is touch, and auditory, which is sound, learning styles. Which means that I learn from actions and that step planning is not my strong suit. That I don't like rules and regulations, and if I don't have any interest in what's being taught, that I'll quickly fall off task. That wherever there is anything going on anywhere else or any potential distraction, I won't remember anything that's being said. Although this shouldn't lead me to be any less responsible for my actions than anyone else, but it isn't but an excuse if I don't overcome it. So, this all led to me being in CAP today, learning more and more each time and even more during our O flights. Which, my next, I'll get to stall the aircraft, which should be fun, but I'm still a little nervous considering that you can always fall out of the sky while you're flying. But I've loved it all my life, and I'm looking forward to every other memory I develop. And I'm proud to have a family to support me through my hard and easy times, and that they've been the ones who have been determined what I am and what I will become. And I will owe that to them for the rest of my life. No matter what I become, they had a part to play in my getting there, no matter what.